So I hope you're able to hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm sharing my screen also. So our today's topic is going to be friction. Okay. So first, tell me what is the definition of friction? So you guys know this, right? So what is the definition of friction if I ask you? It is most commonly defined, it is an opposing force. Okay, accepted. Is that all? It is an opposing force which does what?
Which opposes the motion.
Okay, opposing force should offer resistance. It is an opposing force which offers resistance to what?
To the object moving on its surface.
Yes. So okay, I would like to extend the concept. So what many people think is, if suppose I keep an object on a rough surface and apply a horizontal force that is sufficient enough, then friction is offered by whom to this block? Then friction is offered by the floor to the block in the opposite direction, right? So this is what we always think. Means this block is being opposed from moving. But actually the work of friction is to reduce the relative motion between the objects. Okay. So it is an opposing force which offers resistance to the relative motion between the objects. Please underline the word relative motion because I'm going to develop the whole concept based on this word relative only. Okay. So let's try to understand what it exactly means. If I take a block of mass m and I apply a force, okay, I'm calling the surface as set of surface. Then if I draw the free body diagram of the small mass m, when I apply a capital force F, then what will be the opposing force acting on it? The opposing force acting on it will be the frictional force in the backward direction. Right. Now if I ask you a question, what will be the force that is experienced by the floor? What will you say? We are concerned about the force exerted by the floor on the block. Now, what force does the block exert on the force in the on the floor in the horizontal direction? Will the block take only friction? The question is, the block on the floor will also exert friction, but exactly in the opposite direction. You're able to understand? So, friction here is going to act like an action reaction pair. So this is the meaning of opposing the relative motion. Okay. So the meaning of it is, you will understand when I take two blocks, one on top of each other. If suppose I take a block like this, there is a block of mass m1 and there is another block of mass m2. Okay. Let's say I'm applying a horizontal force F here, and I'm saying that the surface here is rough. Okay. Then you guys tell me what are all the what will be the physics behind this particular concept? I'm saying this horizontal force F is sufficient enough to pull the block M2. Okay, then what do you think will happen? You take M2 alone. What are all the horizontal forces experienced by M2? One is the pulling force to the right, capital F. Then what else will be the other force, guys?
Friction offered by the surface of N1.
Yes, that will be in which direction?
Opposite direction.
That will be in opposite direction. So now I have a question. When this block, the block on the top is moving, will the block at the bottom always remain stationary because we didn't directly apply any force on it? You're able to understand my question. So we know that from Newton's first law, we know that every object will continue to be in a state of rest or motion unless and until there is an unbalanced external force applied on it. Now the question is, it is a two-block system. We have applied a horizontal force on the second block, and we are able to say that the second block is able to overcome the friction, and it is able to accelerate, let's say, in the rightward direction with the value A. Now my question is, will the block M1 remain at rest?
So it depends on its inertia.
That is also there. Okay, you're saying it depends on its inertia. Okay, my question is, okay, I'm saying it has the capability to move. Okay, I'm saying it has the capability to move. What if what if what will happen to this block M1 due to the remaining forces acting on the object? Due to the remaining forces acting in the system, what do you think will happen to block M1? I'm saying its inertia is less. Will it start moving? Okay, rather I'll put my question in a different way. Will M1 not experience any force in the horizontal direction at all?
No, sir.
But the point is, if you observe, M1 is there, right? M1 will also start experiencing a frictional force, but exactly in the direction opposite to the one experienced by M1. Because what did I say? Friction will always act in the action-reaction pair. The meaning of it is, when the block 2 is moving with respect to 1, the block 2 is overcoming the frictional force that is exerted by the rough surface in the leftward direction. Okay. Similarly, 1 with respect to 2 will also start moving in the rightward direction. That depends on the value of friction. That's a different story. But yes, the question is, it will start experiencing a horizontal force F. It is because of the roughness of the surface. So here comes the important question. What is the reason behind friction to act? Okay, observing all these things, we can try to find out what is the reason behind frictional force to act. And the reason for it is interlocking of objects due to the irregularities present in the surface. That is, on a microscopic level, if you observe, the rough surface will be like this. So what will take place between them? There will be an interlocking taking place because the surface will definitely have some irregularities present on them. But to our eyes, it will appear as if it is 100% smooth. It is not going to be. Okay. Due to these irregularities only, the concept of friction is coming to picture, especially between two solids. Right. So, based on when this interlocking is taking place, friction is basically classified into how many types? It is basically classified into 3 types. What are the 3 types of friction that we know? Static, kinetic, and rolling. So what do you mean by static friction, guys?
So the maximum friction offered such that the object remains at rest.
Yes, the object does not. So frictional force that comes into existence when the object is at rest itself. That comes into play when object is at rest. So this is the frictional force that comes into existence. Object is having motion. What kind of motion?
Translatory.
Yes, translatory motion. What about rolling? When object is rolling, right? So now we need to understand what is the mathematical formula for friction. We have been telling that friction will exist in action reaction pair and all those things. So frictional force is mathematically directly proportional to what? So frictional force is directly proportional to the normal force offered by the surface. Okay. So from this, we can write F is equal to what? If you remove the proportionality symbol, the constant that we are going to introduce is mu into n, where mu is called as the coefficient of friction. Right. So I'll put a question like this. Tell me, guys. Let's say the frictional force the surface can offer in this case before the object starts moving is 2 Newton. I am applying a horizontal force of 1 Newton. Will this object start moving?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So I'm saying 2 Newton is the maximum frictional force the surface can offer. I'm repeating it. 2 Newton is the maximum frictional force the surface can offer. Okay. Now tell me, when I apply 1 Newton force, okay, when I apply 1 Newton force, how much will be the frictional force that will come into existence?
1 Newton in the opposite direction.
Yes, it will exactly be 1 Newton, because out of the maximum frictional force 2 Newton, 1 Newton itself is sufficient enough to overcome the applied 1 Newton force. If I increase it to 1.2 Newton, then how much will come into existence?
1.2.
1 point. So this kind of adjustment will take place till what value?
2 Newton.
2 Newton.
Till 2 Newton. As soon as you apply even 2.0001 Newton, the maximum force that will come into existence is 2 Newton. So what is the name of this maximum frictional force before the object starts moving? This is called as limiting friction. So limiting friction is a maximum static force that can be offered by the surface before the object is put into motion. Am I right? Now, so since the static friction is able to adjust itself to its maximum value, depending on what external force you're applying, can I say static friction is self-adjusting? So can we say that static friction is a self-adjusting force? Now comes an important question. If I call the static friction as Fs, okay, and the limiting friction as Fl, if I call the kinetic friction as Fk, if I call the rolling friction as Fr, what is the relation between all these three? So limiting friction will be greater than or equal to static friction is greater than kinetic friction is greater than rolling friction. Right? There is a known fact. Why static friction is going to be more is because the interlocking is going to be more. Whereas kinetic friction, what is going to happen? As the object is moving, the time that is available between the interlocking of both the objects is going to be less. In rolling friction, it is going to be even more less. Right? So from this, I can conclude that mu s is always greater than mu k is always greater than mu r. Hope you are able to understand, guys. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next question that we need to know is, what is angle of repose? Now listen. Imagine see, let's say there is a block of mass m which is kept on a rough inclined horizontal plane. Okay. So will this object have the tendency to move if I don't apply any external force? If I don't apply any horizontal force, will it have the tendency to move? The obvious answer is no. Now, with respect to the horizontal, if I change the angle of inclination like this, okay, and imagine the block is kept on top of that plane. So what do you think will happen at a certain instant? Said there will be one certain instance where this block will start sliding downwards. That will happen at some particular angle alpha. So the angle made by the plane with the horizontal at which the object just starts sliding by overcoming what? By overcoming the frictional force is what is called as angle of repose. Tell me, what are all the forces acting on it? Mg sine alpha. And what will be the frictional force, guys? Do you understand why I wrote mu mg cos alpha? Because what is frictional force? F is equal to mu into n is equal to mg cos alpha. So what should be the angle of repose then? So maximum limiting value will be so how you find the angle of repose, guys? Angle of repose is tan inverse of mu, right? I hope this concept is clear, right? Then there is another concept called as angle of friction. Can someone tell me what is angle of friction?
Angle between resultant and
Angle between resultant of whom? You're almost there. Angle between normal and resultant of normal and frictional force. That is, if there is a frictional force acting in the leftward direction F, the normal is like this. So normal and frictional force, if you observe, they are perpendicular to each other. So the resultant of normal and frictional force will be like this. So this angle, the angle between the normal and the resultant of normal and frictional force is called as angle of friction. From this, can I write tan lambda is equal to F divided by N? So F is equal to mu into N divided by N. So it will be mu. So from this, what can you conclude? Lambda will be equal to tan inverse of. Got it? So one important point to be concluded here is numerically, angle of repose and angle of friction are the same, but conceptually they both are different. Angle of repose can be defined only for inclined plane. Angle of friction can be defined even for a horizontal surface. Okay. So these are some important basic points based on which we will do some problems. Then I will explain its application, like how this frictional force will help in the motion of a car on a circular track, banking of roads and all. Okay, let's do some problems. I've shared this document. You guys can see from there, you can see. So there is a body of mass 400 grams that slides on a rough horizontal surface. If the frictional force is 3 Newton, the angle made by the contact force on the body with the vertical will be. So what are they trying to say? There is a block or a body of mass 400 grams. Let's call it as M. On a rough horizon, if the frictional force is 3 Newton, so frictional force is 3 Newton, the angle made by the contact force on the body with the vertical will be. Let's say this is the force. They're trying to say that there is a contact force which is making an angle theta. So how to solve this? Oh, made by the contact force on the body with the vertical. I'm sorry. So here, what is the contact force? It is the normal, right? So the resultant of friction and normal will be like this. Let's call it as R. So they are asking this angle. Indirectly, what are they asking?
Angle of friction.
Yes. So angle of friction tan lambda is equal to, we know that it is F divided by N. F is what, guys? 3 divided by what is the normal force? N is equal to mg. That is 4 into 10 power minus 3 into 10. So 3 divided by 4 into 10 power minus 2. No, 400, no? This 400 into 10 power minus 3. So 10 power minus 2. So it will be 4, right? 3 divided by 4. So lambda will be how much? Tan inverse of 3 by 4. So tan inverse of 3 by 4 is how much? It is 37 degrees. Okay. In the above question, what is the magnitude of the contact force? Guys, did you understand why I called this R as contact force? Because when the block is in contact with the surface, what are the two forces the surface is offering? One is friction and the other contact force is normal. So the resultant of those two is what is called as the contact force. So what will be the answer here? The magnitude of the contact force will be horizontal force is 3, vertical force is 4. So resultant will be 5. 3, 4, 5 or Pythagorean triplets. This is how much? 4 Newton. This is 3 Newton. So resultant will be 5 Newton. So you guys try this. The coefficient of static friction between the block of a mass m and inclined plane is mu s is equal to 0.3. What can be the maximum angle theta of the inclined plane with the horizontal so that the block does not slip on the plane? One step. Tan inverse of
0.3.
that's it. Because it's angle of repose. Close this problem. So coefficient of static friction between the two blocks shown in the figure is mu. And the table is smooth. What maximum horizontal force F can be applied on the block? Applied to the block of mass capital M so that the blocks move together. Let's see how you are doing. Will you guys try from the concept which I explained? So here, what do they mean by saying that the blocks move together? I'll put the question like this. What should be the relative acceleration between them for them to move together? Listen to my question carefully. What should be the relative acceleration between them for them to move together?
0.
Yes. Means indirectly they are saying both the objects should have the same acceleration. Try to do. So tell me which surface is smooth? The bottom surface or the surface in between?
Bottom surface.
So bottom surface is smooth, so there is no friction. And this surface is rough. So if I draw a free body diagram of small m, guys tell me what are all the forces that are going to act on it? Its weight in the downward direction, mg. There will be normal. Then gas of
Frictional.
that's right. In which direction will it act?
Leftward direction.
Think and tell me. You'll get the answer for that if you draw the free body diagram of capital M. So there is a horizontal force that F that is applied. So this M will have the tendency to move to the right, and it will try to, and the frictional force that is existing between small m and capital M will try to oppose whom? Will try to oppose this horizontal force. So in which direction is it supposed to act? Leftward. So when it is acting in the leftward direction, see, listen to me carefully, okay? There are many tricky parts in this question. Listen to it carefully. So there will be a leftward frictional force. Are you clear with this point? Are you guys clear with the small f?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the weight of the object will act downwards. It is capital Mg. Then this capital M is in contact with the floor and it is in contact with the block of mass M. So due to the floor, it will experience a reaction force in the upward direction. Correct? And due to the mass small m, it will experience a normal force in the downward direction. Now comes the important question, guys. Listen. I've written normal here, right, on small block M. This normal is offered by whom?
Mass M, capital M.
Capital M, right? And the same capital N is offered by small m on capital M. I hope this point is clear. It completed an action reaction pair. Now comes the next important question. We know that friction is equal to mu into normal force. So I can write it as mu n, or I can write F is equal to mu r, or I can write F is equal to mu into r minus n or n minus r. I don't know what is going to be. Out of these three options, which one is the right expression? Are you guys able to understand where the confusion will start? So, listen. Friction is equal to mu into normal force. The normal force that you're supposed to write there should be the normal force offered by the surface of contact. Okay? It should be the normal force offered by the surface of contact. So here, this F which I have written tangentially is the friction offered by which surface? The surface on the top of it. So the surface on the top of it is offering how much normal force? Guys, answer.
N.
So I should not take anything into consideration. Now we are clear. Here I should write F is equal to mu into N. Why I stressed on this point is most common mistake that will happen is you'll write it as mu into R and you will not know what to do with it. You should not write mu into R because that surface is smooth. The reaction force R is offered by a smooth surface, so you should not take it into consideration. Okay. Are you guys able to understand this? So now tell me what will be the frictional force that is acting on small m. What will be the direction?
Right side.
And its value is still mu n. Okay. So you're done with the free body diagram. Since they have told both the blocks are moving together, can I write mu into n is equal to m into a? Similarly, capital F minus mu n is equal to capital M into a. So capital F will be equal to capital M plus small m into a. Why did I write capital M plus small m into a? Because mu n is equal to small m into a. When I write and solve it, I'll get this. But what is the unknown here? What is that I need to eliminate? So mu into, in this case, n is equal to mg, guys. N is equal to small mg. Mg will be equal to ma. M and m will get cancelled. So what is the value of a? It is mu g into capital M plus m. So that is the first option. Did you guys understand what I did? Did you all understand what I did? there is anything that you want me
Yes,
to
sir.
repeat, let okay.
Sir,
Tell me.
sir, why is that the frictional force on the block of mass capital M on the left side?
Because it should oppose whom? It should oppose the external force which is trying to move it. Since the external force capital F is to the right, the frictional force is coming to the left. That is, here it is a pulling force. Capital F is a pulling force. So small f will be in the opposite direction. Had it been a pushing force, then it would have been the rightward direction.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. All right. Now you guys try to solve. So block A weighs 4 Newton and block B weighs 8 Newton. The coefficient of kinetic friction is 0.25 for all surfaces. Find the force F to slide B at a constant speed when A rests on B and moves with it. When A rests on B, what should be the horizontal force I need to apply? So what do you mean by constant speed, guys?
Force acting on the object is zero.
You know, don't say the word force, the net force. Okay. That is, can I say the acceleration is zero? Right, wherever force, the unbalanced force is going to be zero. That is, the forces are balanced, acceleration is zero. So what is the difference between the previous question and this one? In the previous question, relative acceleration was zero. Try to understand. Relative acceleration was zero, but acceleration of individual blocks existed. In this case, what is happening? There is no acceleration of individual blocks at all. That is, both are moving with a constant speed. Here also, both are moving together only. That's what they told. When A rests on B and moves with it, means A should also move along with B. Wherever B goes, A will also go. Right? So how to solve this? So the horizontal force is applied on whom? On the lower block. The previous case, also it was lower block only, yes. But the difference is, the previous case, the bottom surface was smooth, but here all the surfaces have the same coefficient of kinetic friction. Correct? Right? So if I draw the free body diagram of B, then what are all the forces that will act on it, guys? Tell me.
Frictional force on the rightward side.
So one frictional force at the bottom, due to whom? Due to the bottom rough surface. So what will be that frictional force? Mu k into, see, due to the bottom surface, the object will experience a reaction force R1 in the upward direction. I'll call it as N1. Okay. Can I call it as mu k into N1? Right. Now I have another question. Is this the only frictional force that is going to act? There will be another frictional force also, right? Where will it act? Guys, logic is simple. Wherever rough surface, there frictional force will be there.
On the top of the block leftward.
Yes, on the top of the block, but it is not leftward again. It is still rightward. Why will it be leftward? I told you, in the previous problem. If you apply an external force in the leftward direction, friction will always be on that particular block. It will always be in the opposite direction. Only on the other block, it will be in the same direction. Observe, no? Logic. I applied a horizontal force capital F. On that block, the frictional force was in the opposite direction. But on the other block, it will be in the same direction as that of the external force. Same logic. That is a logic. Nothing else you need to think. So here it will be mu k into which normal force should I take into consideration, guys?
G.
Sorry, how much?
MG, sir.
Mg, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Mg of whom? Mg is right. You need to take
Of
the Mg of
block A.
very good. So normal force due to the block on this will be block A on block A will be in the downward direction. So I'll call it as mu k into N2. Now, what is N1, guys? So N1 is the normal force experienced by the lowermost surface to B. So normal force offered by the lowermost surface to B will be its weight, which is nothing but mass of block B into G. What will N2 be? Mass of block A into G. So since the whole system has to move with what? With a constant speed, can I say capital F minus mu k into N1 plus N2 should be equal to 0? Because I told you one important point. What is that? The acceleration of the system is 0. When I apply Newton's second law, when I write m into A is going to be 0. Correct? So F will be equal to mu k into N1 plus N2. So mu k is how much, guys? 0.25 into N1 is 80 plus N2 is 40. So 0.25 is 1 by 4 into 30 Newton. There is no option. Oh, weight itself is 8 Newton. Sorry. I thought it's mass. Tell me, are you guys comfortable with the concept? Are you guys getting clarity of how to apply it? If a different kind of problem comes, will you be able to apply it? Just give me a confirmation. Everyone. I want a response from everyone. Are you guys clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. Now you people tell. You people solve this. In the above question, find the force F to slide B at a constant speed when A is held at rest. So in the previous question, what is happening? A rests on B, that is A and B are moving with the same speed. Whereas here, what is happening? In the above question, find the force capital F to slide B at a constant speed A, constant speed, when A itself is held at rest, means A is not moving at all. So what should be the physics behind it? Question. So on block B, what are the forces that are acting? So mu into so A is held at rest. So what are all the forces acting on A? So A is experiencing mu into N2. So mu into N2 is 0. Newton should be this. So I will just cross verify this because the answer given here is 4 Newton, but my logic says it is 2 Newton. See, what I did is, I did a simple logic. The object B is still moving with a constant speed and A is held at rest. Okay, A is held at rest means it is not moving at all. If it is not moving, then I can say mu into N2 is 0 because that is the only horizontal force which has the tendency to move A. So when mu into N2 is 0, then F should be equal to mu N1. Mu is 0.25 and N1 is 8. So 1 by 4 into 8 should be 2 Newton. So I'm getting 2 Newton, but the answer given here is 4 Newton. I will verify and let you know. But I hope you're able to understand logic, right? Okay. Now let's try this. In the above question, find the force F to slide B at a constant speed when A and B are connected by a light cord passing over a smooth pulley. So in the above question, find the force F to slide B. So they want B to move at a constant speed. And what is going to be the horizontal force that you will apply? When A and B are connected by a light cord passing over a smooth pulley. So A is here. A and B are connected together using a small pulley. So here also they want B to move with a constant speed. Now tell me guys, what will happen? So when you draw the free body diagram of capital B, of B, what are all the forces that will act on it? There will be a horizontal force F, frictional force at the bottom, which is mu, what is it? N2. And this will be mu N1. Then when this is moving, since the block B is in contact with the string, so string will exert what force?
Tension.
That will also be in the rightward direction. So since they have told it is moving with a constant speed, F will be equal to mu N1 plus mu N2 plus T. Remember, mu into N1 plus mu into N2 is 3. That was the answer we got in the fifth problem. So it will be 3 plus T. So let this be equation number 1. Now what can I say about block A? So block A will start experiencing a force of how much value? It will experience a force of mu N1 in the leftward direction, and there will be a tension that is acting here. So tension is how much, guys? Mu into N1. So mu is how much? 0.25 into what is the value of N1?
Four.
That's right. So it will be 1. So tension is equal to 1. So what will be the required force?
Four Newton.
But no option here. So block A, tension is to the right. The frictional force here will be mu times N1. Here the answer is given as D. D in no? D is 5 Newton. Not sure. See, the logic is right. Did we miss any force?
So last problem we took the
Yeah, last problem, what did we do?
we took for B we took as mu and 2, sir. Mu and 1. The down.
Okay. No. But still the logic is same, right? Mu N1 plus mu N2 is 3. Tension. According to this one, mu N1 is nothing but T. See, I've just taken it like that. So if this is T, then this should be mu N1. But mu N1 is nothing but it is a frictional force experienced by A due to B. So mu N2, what is the value of N1 here, guys? N1 is 4 Newton only, no? That was right. So I didn't miss any force actually. This also I'll check. Sometimes I doubt the answers. Okay, I'll check and let you know. To my knowledge, this is right, and this is also right. But I'll cross-verify it once. But logic-wise, it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now try this. Find the maximum value capital M by M in the situation shown in the figure so that the system remains at rest. Friction coefficient at both the contacts is mu. You guys try it. So what are all the things you are able to see? You have surfaces of contact, so there will be normal force. And since the surfaces are up, there will be frictional force. And since they are connected with the help of a string, there will be tension. So you have to take all these things into consideration and then solve. Block of mass capital M. So mg sin theta will be in this direction, downward direction. Tension will be in this direction, and there will be frictional force also acting. So if I take this as the first, this as the second, then I'll call this force as M2. So since the system is at rest, guys, tell me how to write the force. T plus, what are all the balance forces? T plus mu times N2 is equal to capital Mg sin theta. So T plus mu N2, capital N2 is capital Mg cos theta is equal to Mg sin theta. Similarly, for smaller block, what will be the value? Tension will be in the rightward direction. Frictional force will be in the leftward. Let's call it as mu N1. So T will be equal to mu N1. So mu Mg plus mu capital Mg cos theta is equal to capital Mg sin theta. So mu G into, or I will write it like this. G will get cancelled. So mu into small m is equal to capital M into sin theta minus mu cos theta. They have asked capital M by small m, that will be mu divided by sin theta minus mu cos theta. Do you have an option like this? Mu divided by sin theta minus mu cos theta. Yes. First option. Did you guys understand? Right. We'll go to the next problem. So if you have the worksheet, you can actually look at the next problem and start doing it. So there is a block that is placed on a horizontal surface is being pushed by a force F, making an angle theta with the vertical. The coefficient of friction is mu. How much force is needed to get the block just started? Guys, very simple question. It's being pushed, not a pulling force. Be careful. It's making an angle theta with the vertical. So it can be resolved into two components, right? What are they? F sine theta, oh, it is theta. So it is F cos theta downwards. The coefficient of friction is mu. So mu is here. So mu n. Now tell me how to solve. So n is equal to what? F cos theta plus capital Mg. And F sine theta is equal to mu into n. So F sine theta is equal to mu into, can I write it as F cos theta plus Mg? So F will be how much? Sine theta minus mu cos theta is equal to mu Mg. The options given are wrong. Can you tell me why the options are wrong? The options given are wrong. Can you tell me why? How did I find out?
Because said something about acceleration.
How much force can get returned? They've asked force. But if you observe all the options that are given, all are coefficient of friction. Dimensionally, it is wrong, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So Mg is missing actually. Had Mg been there, okay, then what can we say? Mu Mg divided by sine theta minus mu cos theta. Again, the option A is right. Right. Next. You guys can try the next problem. So, see, these kind of problems can be expected in the exam. I've seen many times. This kind of chain hanging problems and all are based on friction concept. Assuming that the length of a chain assuming the length of a chain to be capital L, the coefficient of static friction mu, compute the maximum length of the chain which can be held outside the table without sliding. So what they're trying to say is, observe carefully, guys. There is a table, okay, and there is a chain. For time being, I'm drawing a spring. Okay, there is a chain which is hanging like this, such that, let's say, some y portion is hanging, and the remaining portion is on the table. Okay. So for a chain, where is the mass going to be concentrated? Not only for a chain, for any object, the mass is
Center.
always center of mass. But here, with respect to this question, we don't know where the center is because we don't know how much portion is hanging. So The only option for us to proceed with this question is observe by considering the linear mass density because it's an extended object. So let the linear mass density be capital M divided by L. Here, what is the parameter we are introducing? Capital M is what we are introducing. It's not there in the question. Observe carefully. So that should be eliminated. Okay. Now tell me, what will be the mass of hanging portion? Capital M by L into Y. Can I write it like this? Jeff? Mass of portion on the rough surface is how much? M by L into L minus Y. I base clear with this.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me what will be the physics behind it. So I'm trying to say the weight of the hanging portion. Weight is a force. Okay. The weight of the hanging portion will try to pull the portion which is lying horizontally.
Yes, sir.
I'm repeating it. So who is going to stop it? Who's going to stop from the horizontal portion to slip? It is the frictional force that will act in the leftward direction, which is mu into n. So for the chain to not slide, can I say weight of hanging portion should be equal to frictional force? Correct? So what is the weight of the hanging portion? It is the mass of it into acceleration due to gravity. That is m divided by L into Y multiplied by G should be equal to, what is the frictional force, guys? It is mu into, what is the value of normal? Normal will be acting only for this portion of the mass. That is m by L into L minus Y into G. Did you guys understand how I wrote it? I actually wrote mu mg only, but the value of m is looking big. But the logic is okay. So what will get cancelled, guys? M by L into G, M by L into G is gone. So we could have actually dealt it with lambda itself. So y is equal to mu into L minus Y, which implies y into 1 plus mu is equal to mu into L. So what will be the value of y? Mu L divided by 1 plus mu. Is there an option like this? Yes. Third. Clear, guys? So this is an important problem. Practice these kind of problems. Clear? Shall I move on to the next one? So next is also an interesting question. So there's actually like a concept only. All these things are basic problems you have to see. So if the coefficient of friction between an insect and a bowl is mu, then the radius of the bowl is r. Find the maximum height to which the insect can crawl. The coefficient of friction between insect and a bowl. So here, one point that is missing is the bowl should be a semicircular bowl. Okay, write it down. It should have a semicircular shape. So let's say the bowl is like this. Okay. There is an insect that is trying to crawl up the surface. So when it is trying to, that's what they told, no? Insect can crawl in the, it is obviously not in the downward direction. The insect wants to crawl up. So when that is going to happen, it will experience a frictional force in this direction. Right. Tell me, what are all the other forces it will have? Okay. 1 minute. See, first let's take the basic forces. So the insect is trying to crawl up. It will have its weight in the downward direction, that is mg. Correct? What else will act? Now what we can do is, in
Normal.
this top, yes, there will be a normal in this direction. Okay. So since normal and mg are not aligned along the same direction, the hint that we get is we need to take the angles into consideration. Means we need to resolve the components. Since we need to resolve, and one more important thing is R is given to us, I'm considering a triangle. So mostly when we need to resolve, no, we take the help of trigonometry. That is the reason why I thought of considering a right angle triangle. If I take this angle as theta, then the force that is acting tangential to the surface will be what? So tangential to the surface will be perpendicular here. Guys, I'm going to show you something. Tell me if you are able to understand. This is 90. Right. When that is 90, then listen, this angle will be 90 minus theta, then this will be theta. So what will this component be? It will be mg cos theta, and this will be mg sin theta. Accepted? So mg cos theta is component of the, mg cos theta is a weight component of this insect, which will try to pull the insect downwards. But what force will try to hold the insect in a balanced position? It is a friction. Okay. So this is, I'm sorry, this is the normal force. Now tell me. So if I take this as the coordinate axis x and y, now what are all the forces that are balanced? Mu n is balanced by mg cos theta, and n is balanced by mg sin theta. So mu into mg sin theta is equal to mg cos theta. Mg and mg will get cancelled because mass of this is not given. Mass of the insect is not given. Mu is equal to cot theta. So what is cot theta, guys? So if this is the height,
R by H.
so r divided by h. But what have they asked? What is the maximum height to which the insect can crawl? If they take this height as capital H, then can I say capital H is nothing but r minus h, because this distance will be radius and already h is gone. Capital R is equal to r minus h. So h is equal to r by mu. Correct? Small h is equal to r divided by mu, which implies the maximum height to which the insect can crawl will be r minus small h. So r minus r divided by mu. So r into 1 minus 1 by mu. Is there an option like that? R into 1 minus 1 by mu square. Did I miss something? Extremely sorry.
Sir,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
is
I mean, that's not R actually. This is R. Correct? That is that what you wanted to say?
yes, sir.
This is R. Then what is cot theta, guys? Cot theta is root of R square minus H square. Cot theta is root of R square minus H square divided by H. Correct? From this, find out what is the value of H. Then find capital H is small r minus capital H. Then you will get the answer. So mu square H square is equal to R square plus H square, which implies H square into 1 plus mu square is equal to R square. So H will be equal to R divided by root of 1 plus mu square. So capital H will be R into 1 minus 1 divided by root of 1 plus mu square. This option is there, right? R into root 1 minus 1 by, so option is D. Let me check. Yes, option D is right. But did you guys understand the concept? Okay. So I will upload this assignment also today. You can try it out. If there are any doubts, we will have a consolidated discussion of previous DPP and this DPP someday. Okay, depending on the number of doubts you enter, I will arrange a class for it. Clear? So any other conceptual doubt, guys?
No, sir.
Okay. I suggest you to sincerely practice this DPP because sometimes what they will do is to make the question tough, they will take the concept of electrostatics and friction also. They can do anything they want. Okay, that time you should not struggle. So practice it properly so that you choose the right directions of friction. Then it become easy for you guys. Okay. So just wait for a minute. Don't leave.